guys, welcome back to my channel. I have another meal prep for you, so let's get right into it. I need some spaghetti squash for a recipe later in this week, so I thought since it takes so long to cook, I'm going to go ahead and do this in meal prep. I like to do as many of the components of dinners that I can during meal prep. Always makes it really nice. If you've never made a spaghetti squash before, I'm going to show you how I make mine. So you want to cut the spaghetti squash in half. Be very careful. You need a very sharp knife. I have heard different tactics of actually making it easier to cut. They say you can poke holes in it, put it in the microwave, makes it easier to cut. I just have my husband do it for me, but you can find all kinds of ways online to do it. And I know some people put theirs in their pressure cooker, but to be honest, it really makes me nervous, like the whole thing like exploding. I don't know. I know it's ridiculous, but it just makes me super nervous. I'm already like nervous about my pressure cooker to begin with, but anyway, so you want to go ahead and scrape everything out. If you have a melon baller, it works really, really well for scraping everything out. I don't have one. But anyway, you just want to get kind of, all the insides out, and then we will put some oil and some spices on it next. So I just have some avocado oil here that I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to brush it all along the inside and along the edges of the spaghetti squash. This is just going to help, add flavor, and also it just helps it bake into it, and it just, I don't know, for me I feel like it makes such a better like squash when you add this oil on there. And then normally my spices I like to use are salt, pepper, and garlic, but because I discovered this amazing seasoning, I know I talk about the seasoning all the time. This is that Himalayan pink salt, pepper, garlic seasoning from McCormick. So I just used that on there because it's everything I normally use on my squash. So you want to do it flush side down on a baking sheet, and then you're going to put this in a 400-degree oven for about 40 to 60 minutes, just depending on how big your squash is. Mine was pretty small, so it took just at 45 minutes, and it gets really, really hot, so be careful. And then you just want to scrape out the edges. I actually let mine cool quite a bit before I scraped out everything. So then you just scrape it all out, and it's just like spaghetti. So this will store in your refrigerator for about 5 or 6 days, and I'm going to be using this for a buffalo chicken recipe later on in the week. One thing I've noticed over the years that if I do not cut up my lettuce, I will not make salads. That's why I buy a lot of bagged salads. It's just, I don't know, I think it's just when you're making dinner after you get off of work, and honestly, I just don't want to be bothered to cut up the stuff for salads. I love salad. I could eat it every single day, but it's just getting it ready it's just so time consuming for me when I'm also making dinner. I've just worked all day. Anyway, so when I do like to try to prep it when I have the time to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up this head of green leaf lettuce. This is a really big head of green leaf lettuce. And then I like to put it into my salad spinner, and I just rinse it off really well, and then I just spin the heck out of it. And this salad spinner, I love this thing. I think I got this on Amazon. It's a cheap version. It's not like even the most expensive version. It's a cheaper version, and it works so well. So once you spray everything and then you spin it out, this lettuce will last so long. It gets it so dry. It's just amazing. So now my lettuce is all ready, so I have no excuse not to make my salads this week. The same thing kind of goes with my green onions. I love green onions. I love throwing them in everything. But again, if I don't cut them up, then I don't use them. And I hate wasting this kind of stuff. But I have to admit, sometimes I end up wasting like a half a bunch of green onions because I did not have them cut up. So I thought this week I am going to cut all my produce up and just have it all ready to go. I usually store my green onions in a glass bowl, and I just put it into the refrigerator, and it lasts all week. In today's meal prep, I'm going to be using some asparagus, and then also for dinner tonight, I am also using asparagus. So I am just going to go ahead and get this chopped up. Half of it I'm going to chop up into little pieces. As you'll see, I'm going to use these for some egg muffin cups later on in this video. So I need those to be rather small, so I'm going to cut those up small. The other ones I'm just using for a dinner recipe tonight, and I don't need them cut into little bits and pieces. But I thought I'd just go ahead and get this all prepped and ready to go, so the rest of meal prep goes pretty smoothly. Another thing you'll see me use later on this video is this cilantro. So I need this for a dinner recipe that I'm going to be prepping in this video, and then also I need some for some cilantro lime rice I'll be having for dinner later on in the week. So I thought I'd just go ahead and chop the entire bunch up. And I also put this through my salad spinner before I cut it. So I just rinsed it out really well, spun it out, and then I cut it up. You can use a salad spinner for way more things than just salad. It works good for all kinds of produce. One of the things I'm making in meal prep today are going to be some Copycat Subway protein bowls. If you saw my vlog the other day, you saw that I got one of the new protein bowls from Subway, and I knew it'd be really super easy to replicate those bowls. So one of the things in the recipes are green peppers. They are sliced super, super thin in the bowls. I should have just got my what do you call that thing? Food processor out and cut them up that way, but it's just a pain. So I thought, no, I'm just going to go ahead and cut them up as thinly as I can, but they're definitely not as thin as they are in the Subway bowls. But I wanted to get this all ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and chop up everything I need for all the rest of the recipes in this video. I love red onion. I know there's a lot of people who don't eat onion on keto because it does have higher carb, but it's a vegetable. It's still a lower carb item, and you're not eating a whole bunch of it. I just, usually toss in a few, little thinly sliced pieces of red onion in my salads, and I'm also going to add it in the Subway bowls because that is one of the ingredients in the Subway bowls. And then I also need it for that dinner recipe. The last piece of produce that I need for the Subway bowls is some thinly sliced tomatoes. Tomatoes were so hard to find this week. They are not very good right now in our area, and I just found some. I wanted to get the big beefy tomatoes, but none of them were good. So I just picked up some Roma tomatoes, which actually ends up being, I think these will be better because they're a little bit smaller, so they'll fit in the bowls better. So I cut them up as thinly sliced as I could. I think next time I'll get either my mandolin out or my food processor so I can get them cut really thin. One of those protein bowls that I'm making is going to be a spicy Italian, so I need to go ahead and get some pepperoni and salami cut up. So I think I'm making 2 of the spicy Italian bowls, so I'm going to go ahead and get the pepperoni and salami cut up so I have it all ready to go when it's time to assemble the bowls. The other 3 bowls that I'm making is going to be chicken bacon ranch. That's another option on the Subway menu. So I have some grilled up chicken breast here. It's still really hot, but I'm going to go ahead and slice that up into some strips, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half, and then I'll have these for the chicken bacon ranch. For those chicken bacon ranch bowls and also for a dinner recipe tonight, I need some bacon. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my bacon in the oven with my spaghetti squash. I think at this point I have about 15 minutes left on my spaghetti squash, so it's perfect timing because my bacon usually takes 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and spread all this out, and then I'm going to toss it in the oven. For those chicken bacon ranch bowls and also for salads this week, I'm going to be making some homemade ranch dressing. I will be using this packet from Thrive Market. It's super clean. There's no fillers, no added ingredients. Definitely check it out. You can use your own Hidden Valley Ranch packet. Those do have some fillers in there, but I have to admit I buy those sometimes. But if you don't have either one of those, let me tell you the spices that you can use for this. You'll need 2 teaspoons of dried parsley, a teaspoon of dried dill, a teaspoon of dried chives, a half a teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That'll give you the same spices that I normally use. So I'm going to be adding to my bowl here a half of a cup of sour cream, and then you're going to do 1 cup of mayo, and then you're going to add in your spices. And once you add in all your spices, you're going to go ahead and add in some heavy cream. Now, this is what I do. Normally, I start off with about a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and then I will add in some water after I mix it up because I don't know, for some reason, sometimes it's runnier than others. So I just start off with a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. So once you put that in there, stir it up really well, and then you'll kind of know what kind of consistency you want. Now, normally the consistency that you get right away would be that of a really good good dip, but not as good for like dressing because it's super thick. So I decided, because I'm using this for salads this week, I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of water. So I end up adding in about 1/4 cup of water just to water it down just a little bit. So you may just start off with a tablespoon or 2 of water and just putting it in there till it's the right consistency that you like. I tasted the salad dressing. This is really good. I definitely will be repurchasing these Thrive Market ranch dressing mixes again. For one of my dinners this week, I'm having chimichurri chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and get it marinating so it's ready to go in the refrigerator. Also, you can throw them into the freezer while they're in the marinade, which I used to do quite a bit when I used to do a lot of freezer prepping. So I'm going to put my chicken breasts in the Ziploc bag. I just like to use a big bowl. It kind of holds big enough to hold the Ziploc bag. I'm adding in about 1/4 cup of that chopped up red onion. And then I'm going to add in about half of that cilantro that I chopped up earlier. So you need about 1/2 cup of cilantro. And then you're going to need some minced garlic. So I never measure out minced garlic. I just did a big heaping teaspoon of minced garlic. And then I had a jalapeno in my refrigerator. So I went ahead and just chopped that up really roughly. And then also put in a nice generous amount of salt. And then you want to put in about the equivalent of about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using avocado oil. I know now, after I probably should weigh out and measure out the avocado oil, but for one thing, I'm using it as a marinade. Secondly, I have been using that bottle for a long time now, and I know about what comes out to about 2 tablespoons. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this up really well and stick it in the refrigerator, and it's all ready to go on the night I need it for dinner. Time to start assembling the bowls. First up, we're going to do the spicy Italian bowls. Now, like I said, these are a copycat of Subway. They have these new protein bowls. The only difference really between these and their chopped salads is this is not chopped up. So it's pretty much everything in their chopped salads. It's just not chopped up with that chopper that they have. So I bought these bigger bowls. They're like a bigger, deeper dish meal prep bowl. It's almost exactly the same size as my Subway bowl, I noticed. So I'm going to start off in the bottom with just putting in some iceberg lettuce. It just kind of adds a little bit of crunch, and then I'm going to add in a generous amount of spinach. I did notice when I got my bowl, they did also have a generous amount of spinach, which was so nice, because that was my biggest complaint with the salads, was I always had to ask for extra spinach because I felt like they put more of the shredded lettuce than they did the spinach. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this out into the 2 different bowls. Cheese is an extra ingredient that you can add onto your bowl, but it's not something that comes as a part of the regular bowl. But I love cheese, so I'm going to go ahead and add in some mozzarella cheese. The next layer is going to be some of the thinly sliced red onion. You can leave this out, put as much as you want, but I believe it just adds so much flavor to a salad and to the bowls. The next layer is going to be your thinly sliced green pepper. Again, these were really thinly sliced in the bowls, so I'll see how this is, but I think I got it thin sliced enough where it's just going to be some nice added crunch. You guys, doesn't this already look so good? And then next up is the tomato layer, so we're going to add in the tomatoes on this, and then it's time to add on the meat. So I'm just going to go ahead and add on the pepperoni and the salami, so I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it on top. That was my only complaint about the bowls, is that they did not really separate out the meat. So you just had these big stacks of like pepperoni and salami, which was fine. I mean, that happens all the time, even when I'm making things, but it was just really, it was really stacked together. But here is that, and then we are going to add on some extras. So one thing I did add on to my bowls that I got from Subway was some jalapenos and banana peppers, because I mean, it's not spicy unless you have this added on there. So I have some pickled jalapenos I'm adding on, and then also some banana pepper rings that I'm adding on here. So that's just my extra added touch. Again, these are totally optional, but I just think it really makes for a great bowl. When I have this, I'll add on some oil and vinegar before I eat it. I just don't want to add it on now because it'll make it soggy, but I did that also when I ordered it from Subway, and it was absolutely amazing. The next bowl is going to be the chicken bacon ranch. I looked at their menu to see all the different types of bowls, and it was so hard for me to decide which ones to make this week. But the chicken bacon ranch just sounded amazing because that used to be one of my favorite sandwiches as well. I mean, like, I gravitated towards the Italian sandwiches, but I really loved the chicken bacon ranch as well. So it's going to be the same, starting out the same layers with the iceberg lettuce. We're going to do, again, a generous amount of the baby spinach. Do you guys take the stems off your spinach? I am tempted to, but it's just so much time to do that. I feel like with baby spinach, it's not as bad because the stems are pretty tender. But like with the big regular spinach, I have to take the stems off because they're just so hard. But that's just a little fun fact. So tell me, what do you guys do? And then we're going to do our green onion. We're going to do our red onion and go ahead and put that on there. Or do you call them purple onion? There's another thing I'm curious about. Some people call them purple onions and some people call them red onions. I guess it's actually kind of purple, so maybe they should be called purple onion. I don't know. I've always just called them red onion. And then next, our green pepper is going to go on here. And for these bowls, I'm going to go ahead and add on a little bit of Colby Jack cheese, again, just to add in just a little bit of flavor and just add in a little bit extra fat, but I just can't have a salad without cheese. And of course, the last layer before we add on our meat is going to be our thinly sliced tomatoes. Now I'm going to add on that chicken that I had and that I already had cooked up. So I'm just going to put one chicken breast on each of these bowls. And the last thing we're going to add to the bowls is going to be one slice of bacon. Or you can add as many slices as you want. I'm just adding in one slice of roughly chopped up bacon. Now I'm not going to add the ranch dressing on top of these until I have them for lunch, just because, again, I don't want it to get soggy. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them like this. I'll put the lids on there, store them in the refrigerator, and then when I have them for lunch, I'll add on the ranch dressing, and I already know this is going to be amazing. Next up, I want to kind of change up my breakfast game this week. I'm going to add on some egg muffins to go with my smoothies. So this is a ham and asparagus egg muffin. The original recipe actually called for pancetta and asparagus egg muffins, but I could not find pancetta anywhere in my stores, so I'm just going to use some diced up ham. So first, to a skillet that I have some avocado oil, I am adding in that chopped up asparagus from earlier, and then I'm going to add in about 4 ounces of diced up ham. And then we're going to go ahead and cook this up until it's nice and the asparagus is starting to get tender and the ham is all starting to get crispy. I am also going to add in some of this Himalayan pink salt. I'm going to have to order more of this. I have gone through so much of this seasoning, it's just not even funny. Egg muffins are seriously one of the easiest things to meal prep. I highly recommend making these. I have done these for years, even way before I was eating low carb. I made egg muffins all the time. I've made a ton on my channel, so definitely search the videos for egg muffins and you're going to find a ton of different recipes. These ones I hope are just as good as some of the other ones I made. So in my bowl here, I am adding in 6 eggs. We're going to be adding in a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and then some salt and pepper. Now, if you don't want to use heavy cream, you can use half and half. You can use almond milk. You can use all kinds of things for this. You don't have to use the heavy cream, but again, I want to add in a little bit of that fat in there. So I'm going to go ahead and whisk that all together, and then we're going to go start assembling our egg muffin cups. I do find that using the silicone muffin cups works really, really well with egg muffins. They like to stick no matter how much you spray your pan, so I highly recommend investing in these. I think I bought them like years ago on Amazon, and I think I got 24 of them for like $12, and they may even be cheaper now. So they are really, really cheap. And you can just use them over and over again. They pop out beautifully, so I highly recommend these, especially for egg muffin cups. So I'm just going to put in, it's about 1/8 of a cup that I'm putting in of that mixture, but I'm just really trying to put it in evenly throughout all of the muffin cups. Next up, I'm going to add a little pinch of mozzarella cheese. So I just have some finely shredded whole milk mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to go ahead and put in each of these cups. And then you just want to simply pour over the egg mixture. Again, you want to fill the cups up about 3/4 of the way full because they will puff up a little bit. But you want to go ahead and just evenly space it out between all of them. And then this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. It really depends on your oven, how fast they cook. I usually check mine with a toothpick. If they are mostly cooked through, I take them out because eggs will continue to cook even after you pull them out of the oven. So you just don't want them jiggly or runny in the middle, but a little bit of runniness is okay because they will cook through as you let them sit there. And here's what they look like when they are all done. I have not tried them yet, so I can't tell you what they taste like, but I will try them in one of my vlogs this week. You may have saw in one of my videos last week, I tried out my new Dash egg cooker to make hard-boiled eggs, and I absolutely loved it, and I actually ended up making more eggs throughout the week. So you just want to go ahead and take your measuring cup, and you want to pour in the amount of water if you want hard, medium, or soft-boiled eggs, and then you just prick the bottom. You put the pricked part up on top, and then you just follow the instructions. So basically you just put the lid on there. Don't tighten the lid because I learned that the hard way. And you want to go ahead and press the on button. I set my timer for 10 minutes, but this actually went off in exactly 10 minutes, so it was really perfect. And that is everything, you guys, for my meal prep for the week. I have my protein bowls, I have my hard-boiled eggs, I have my salad prepped, some dinner components prepped, and I am ready to go for a nice, healthy week. Let me know what you guys meal prep for the week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.